Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood and we are back with the second episode of the Poland-Lithuania campaign here in Empire Total War. Now, quick thing about this video, the audio is going to be a little bit different because for some reason when I recorded this, it decided that it did not want to record any audio. And it's kind of strange because I recorded this episode immediately after recording the last one, and the episode I recorded immediately after this second episode had audio. So for some reason, that time when I hit the record button, it was just like, nope, Robin, you are not going to get to talk to people today. However, my software, which was plotting against me, cannot stop me because I can do what I am doing now, which is recording my voice inside of my video editing software. So we'll see how this goes. I am not going to be able to give as detailed in the moment commentary onto what my thoughts were, but I can give you guys the gist of what was going on in my head. So at the end of last episode, we had just entered war with Sweden, had not fought any battles yet. In the top right of the screen area now, you can see I have an army up there besieging a province controlled by the Swedish. And I'm going to start recruiting some more troops, and this is going to be a good thing. Right now I do not have that many troops under my control, much less well-trained troops such as line infantry. I only have militia and pikemen, and I don't have any armies guarding any other areas aside from my one army up there besieging Sweden. So basically right now I'm just considering what all I want to do. I was thinking about moving that army, but I've decided I am going to leave them down there just in case the Ottomans try to do anything funny. We don't want that going on. No attacks from the Ottomans in the south. Because one tricky thing about the Polish here in this game is that they start next to Russia, and Russia is very friendly towards them. So my west, or actually my east, is covered by Russia, and they control a ton of territory. But every other nation around Poland-Lithuania goes ahead and they are very hostile towards the Polish. So I have to really kind of consider everything. And here, when I ended the turn, Prussia declared war on me, which is why I was saying it was a good thing that I started recruiting those troops in my capital, because currently I have nothing to defend against the Prussians, who are directly north of my capital of Warsaw. And here you can see the Swedish are going to decide to come out of their fort and attack me. And I went ahead and cut to right after I finished deploying here. You can see this is the end. The reason I cut this out is because without any audio, we don't want to look at a loading screen. I can't talk about what I'm planning to do or anything. Or I can, but it won't be as authentic. So we're going to cut to the chase here. And you can see it deployed me here outside of their fort, which they are attacking me from. And I could have set up my own barricades, but there is conveniently a wall right next to my deployment section. So that is what I am going to use as my defense against their attack. My army probably could have taken the attacking army on toe-to-toe, just in a straight-out fight in the field. But if I have a wall there and they are going to march towards me, you know, I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure that my men get the maximum amount of kills with taking as minimal losses as I can, because I have to pay for my men to be replenished. And you can see I notice that the Swedish are kind of moving more towards the left, so I'm going to shuffle my forces down there. I'm going to wait to move that last unit, and just in case they, for some reason, manage to get their general past, I used my pikemen to set up those little anti-cavalry barricades in front of my artillery, which is fixed, so I cannot move them. So anyways, at this point I decided I'm going to speed things up here, because the AI is going to take its jolly old time marching towards me. And my men, you know, they're just going to sit behind this wall and wait for him. My artillery's going to be able to start opening fire. And at this point I realized when I was working on a little cinematic clip earlier I had turned off my user interface, so I was like, this is not how this is supposed to look. So there, now I have the full UI. You can see my artillery's opening fire. I wanted to snipe his general, but the general's not going to like that, so it's going to move back. And these militia were just kind of derping about inside. They did not know how gates work. They did not want to exit that fort. So I'm going to start firing with my artillery at his line infantry. That's the most expensive unit that Sweden has on this field, because to the right of those line infantry are 3 units of the extremely terrifying armed mob. These are the people that are defending their homes, and they're not very good at it, sadly. I mean, like, props. I'd want to defend my home too, but these people just melt. They're basically like ice cream that you stick in the middle of a desert. Once you start shooting at them, they're just going to melt away. So there they are, those armed citizenry shooting, and they're not going to score any kills because they're just absolutely terrible units. They just suck. So, they can't hit my men behind a wall. I don't even know that they can hit the wall. But every now and then it is nice having those armed citizenry in defense, You can use them semi-effectively every now and then. They are good for flanking fire, but of course the AI is not going to use them like that. So what's going on here is I am charging forward with my pikes, and you guys might notice for some reason I was getting little stutters, and that I'm certain that this is a glitch with my recording software that also resulted in me losing the audio, because normally my game's running at about 90 to 110 frames per second with the computer setup I have, so I don't know what was causing those little stutters, and then I found out that the audio was messed up. And in the next episode of this campaign, you all will see that everything runs perfectly smoothly, just like in the first episode. So yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there, but we'll make do because I saved over this campaign, so I can't re-record this. And I didn't want to just cut out this whole episode, especially since this is the first combat. But you can see my men still doing well behind the wall. We repel that first assault. All those armed citizenry decide to turn tail and run. And these militia still don't know how to open a gate. You would assume they could hear the sounds of the battle, and they're just like, we are comfy. We want to sit here and stay. So yeah, I'm pulling back my men because I expect some of these guys to come back from routing. For the moment, just shooting at them with my artillery to hopefully keep them routing. And I have now lined up so that I am getting some better angles of fire on this line infantry unit. And I could have just charged them here with my pikes, but I've decided I'm going to get all the way behind them with my pike unit. The reason for this is when you charge from the front and you have units behind them, any fire that unit is doing, so had I charged from the front, my line infantry behind the wall up there, all of their shots would pretty much have hit my own men. And I've seen tons of people in multiplayer, in this game in Napoleon, they'll march forward in 2 lines. So they'll have one line of infantry, say you had like 4 line infantry units lined up, and then another 4 units of line infantry lined up like a few yards behind that first unit. Well, the problem with that is, I've assumed that formation in the Napoleon Total War battle I recently posted, actually, right before this video, actually. You guys will see that, but in that video, I originally marched forward in a double line, but that's just for ease of marching purposes, so that my army's not too spread out. You don't want to actually engage like that unless your second line is on a higher elevation than your first line, because all of the rounds from your second line will go directly into the back of your own men, and it basically results in you helping your opponent shoot you down faster. So that's why I took the time to maneuver those pikes all the way around behind. That way they were getting very limited friendly fire, and I was managing to still shoot at those units of line. And there goes my phone. Someone must love me. Either that or they hate me enough to send me a message telling me how much they hate me. But we're going to ignore that for now. Sorry about that, guys. And yeah, so at this point, As you guys can see, I mean, the enemy troops basically had thrown themselves against the wall. Uh, they had two units that could actually fight. They had the line infantry unit and that pike unit. Those three units of armed citizenry are they're like negligible. It's basically as if they weren't there. They got almost no kills, and I routed them immediately. And then this unit of militia glitched out. Now that all their buddies are dead, those militia units decided, yo, we can go save this thing. So they're finally going to march outside, which actually is convenient because that means I didn't have to climb the walls, which is what I was marching to do. And so here I am very quickly just going to start setting up my men in an arc around these guys. And we're going to shoot them down quickly, and I'm having my pikemen charge in from the flank again to avoid as much friendly fire as possible. But at this point, I just want these guys to rout, so that's going to be the end of that and that battle, and we'll cut back to the campaign map, which you can see here. I got very minimal losses there. I lost 40-something men, and killed a lot more. And, you know, I could have stood in a toe-to-toe battle just out in the field with that army easily, but, you know, if there's a wall there, you want to save as many troops as possible, so that's why I assumed that defensive tactic. So now we can just attack this, and here I really should have demanded surrender. After that thrashing, they might have actually went ahead and surrendered to my army, but I went ahead and just auto-resolved, took extremely minimal losses, and that province is now under my control. So just going to take all of my men and heal them up, make sure that they are good to go, and that didn't cost me that much because I didn't take very many losses. So remember, before that battle, I was in the end turn and Prussia declared war on me. So I'm looking at this, that little town there, completely undefended to the left of Prussia, and I have pretty much determined, okay, Prussia's got forces right there, and I actually didn't realize it, but Prussia has forces a little bit farther down and to my left. So I've pretty much accepted that that town, West Prussia there, is going to fall. And that's what I'm pointing out there. So I decided I'm not at war with the Ottomans yet, so I'm going to bring that tiny army I had in the fort down there over towards Prussia to try to hold that area. And right here I'm just pointing out, if Prussia decided to move towards my one province there, I can easily defend it with the army I just used to take the province from Sweden. And right now I'm looking at what Sweden has left. Most of it is over the sea, so I would have to march all the way around on land to get it because I don't have any ships. So for the moment, I'm just going to ignore them. They do have a fleet, but it's visible to me, and I don't have any ports, so it's not that much of a threat. Anything they land over here, I should be able to fight. And that's when I notice the army is further down to the left. So I'm just kind of noticing that, you know, I have a little bit of a situation with Prussia. Sweden is the least of my worries at the moment, and it made me kind of consider that maybe I should have fought and tried to knock out Prussia a little bit more quickly. So when I end the turn here, of course they're going to come, and there's no point in me fighting that battle. There's no chance of winning against that, so I'm going to lose West Prussia. Now, I should be able to get this territory back pretty quickly. There's not that many issues with it. And, you know, their army's beat up. They just took a fight with Austria, took that territory down to the left of the screen that I noticed. And now they have taken one of my territories, and, you know, they did suffer some losses doing that. So there's all the updates that my army has been destroyed. And I am going to now try to get peace with Sweden. Actually, I guess I don't do that there. I'm going to do that soon. See, this is the problem with my recording deciding it doesn't want audio. I have to try to remember exactly what I'm doing later. But at this point, with war escalating, I want my men to have even better bayonets, because a good bayonet charge is always a good thing, especially since the AI oftentimes will seems to rush men right into your lines. It doesn't matter what battle difficulty you'll put them on. And originally I started them on normal in this. The campaign setting is on hard, but I figured battle difficulty on normal because the AI gets some annoying tendencies and buffs where men won't rout to like the last men when you raise it up, but we might have to raise it up here soon in the next episode or two, depending on how the AI ends up acting. Once we get into some bigger engagements, we'll see at what point it becomes just too easy. But anyways, right now I have to consider recruiting troops because I am at war with Prussia, which is directly by me, so I'm looking at all of that, trying to determine who I want to recruit, and I was looking at getting some more cavalry or line infantry, but considering I can only afford one, I decide it's not worth waiting on them. I'm going to hit this Prussian army while it is still weak from fighting my men and the Austrians, so I'm going to march that way. And I could have moved towards East Prussia there, but for the moment, I see a quicker victory in the territory that I had previously held. So I'm just trying to get a bearing of where all my forces are. And we're going to try to see what we can do about that. And right now, with that Prussian army moving out of there, it gives me a good opportunity for that small army that you guys see to possibly take the territory that they had taken from the Austrians. But of course, I'm going to end turn here, and things are going to get a little bit more tricky. So, Austria declares war on someone, and I decide that I am not going to enter on the side of my ally, which doesn't really help me that much because that breaks my alliance, and then Austria immediately declares war on me. This is the hard difficulty on the campaign playing in. Plus, like I was saying earlier, everybody around Poland-Lithuania is hostile towards them starting the game, aside from Russia. So now I have enemies to the north and the west, and then the Ottoman Empire to my south declares war on me. So at this point, I am 100% surrounded by enemies, aside from my east, which is Russia. And Russia's going to do me a favor here and make things a little bit easier. They're going to take out the last Swedish province that is actually in contact with one of my provinces, so I don't have to worry about them. And you can see my little protectorate state there went in and raided some of those Prussian towns, which is also helpful. So at this point, you can see I have a straight shot at this city, and I could take it, but I don't have enough of a force to hold it if I take it. So I'm actually not going to do that, especially with those giant Austrian armies there. I'm going to go ahead and take back the Prussian force up here, and instead of attacking this immediately, I'm actually going to go ahead and lay siege to it. I'm not actually going to wait 5 turns till it surrenders, but I just want to see if they'll come fight me out on the open field so I don't have to rush into the town there. But we'll see how that goes. And you can see that's where I noticed that St. Petersburg has been taken by the Russians. So I figure maybe Sweden, will want peace. They don't, but they're not really that much of a threat to me, so it doesn't matter that much. So I'm moving my one army back down to where they started to hopefully ward off the Ottomans a little bit. But things are going to start getting really interesting here. I'm at war on all fronts, and I'm going to have to work with limited funds because since I don't have a port, I can't trade with anyone that's not immediately adjacent to my territories. So getting a port's going to be quite a priority because with everyone around me being hostile, there is no chance of trade there, so my funds have dropped, and I now have to beef up my armies if I want to fight my way out of this. So first thing on the agenda is going to be knock out Prussia up north so that I can only focus to the south and to the west. And taking out the Prussians will also allow me to get some port access. Hopefully I can start trading with maybe factions like Britain or France that might be hostile towards the Prussians and the Austrians. And any hope of trade I had with the Ottomans is not going to happen, clearly, since they have attacked me. So, yeah, things are going to get interesting. We're going to have to do quite a little bit of maneuvering to try to get out of this. And at least Russia is there, and they joined all those wars with me. So Russia will be most directly influential with the Ottomans and the Swedish, because those are the nations they are actually adjacent to and can contribute to in fighting. So we'll see how much that works out. They already helped a little bit with the Swedish. But anyways, that's where I had decided to end this episode. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all next time with more. Thank you for watching.